It's Monday, the 28th of June. Welcome to the Breakfast Show. I'm your host, Mark Anthony, and once again, I find myself starting a new working week completely exhausted. However, we soldier on. If you've not caught this show before, I try to save the questions and comments till the very end, but please post them in the chat section, and I'll get to them just as soon as I can. We will also get to the news headlines in just a second as well. But first, let's see which celebrities will be forced to lie even more about their age after today. Today marks the birthday of former British monarch and collector of wives, Henry VIII, to actress Kathy Bates, who was bloody terrifying in Misery, and to Mr. Tesla himself, Elon Musk. Elon is a huge fan of this show, and he often tunes in on his car's dashboard, which plays while the car drives itself. I don't recommend that anybody else tries that. Now, the big news in British demolition circles is that 9 companies have been named on a framework that will demolish a former steelworks on Teesside in the northeast of England. That demolition will pave the way for the construction of a new GE Renewables wind turbine factory. The list of the 9 firms selected is an impressive mix of the justifiably predictable and the pleasingly local, with demolition giants such as Erith Group, Brown & Mason and DSM vying for work alongside the Northeast's very own MGL Demolition and Thompson's of Prudhoe. It's predicted that the demolition might involve as many as 1,000 workers at the height of the works, which will be terrific for local employment. And there's also thought to be as much as £150 million up for grabs for those that have made it onto the shortlist, which will be good for their coffers. However, if you received my email newsletter this morning, and if you didn't, why haven't you signed up? You will know that I've already voiced my concerns over the speed with which the 9 firms will be expected to complete the works. In fact, there was talk of accelerating the demolition even before most of the 9 aforementioned companies had even been named. The local mayor, Ben Houchin, and that's Ben there, he's very pro-construction, and he said that he wants the former steelworks on the floor within a year. The Teesside facility covers an area of more than 1,800 hectares. As a former steelworks, it is likely that the site will contain a huge amount of asbestos, together with a multitude of other post-industrial elements, chemicals and toxins that will also need to be removed and or remediated. Now, I'm no expert, but that alone sounds like a year or more of work in itself. Also, as a former steelworks, the structures on the site are likely to have been built to last, with heavily reinforced concrete and some pretty heavy steel as well. The presence of the likes of Brown & Mason, Erith and DSM on the framework shortlist is not because their pre-tender PowerPoint presentation was particularly eye-catching. It's because they have the ability to bring the level of manpower and firepower required to tackle a project of this nature and magnitude. I think Mayor Houchin and his team need to understand that a demolition of this kind is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And let's not forget that the Redcar site has already claimed the lives of 2 workers back in September 2019. To my mind, the best thing that Mayor Ben Houchin can do right now is to remove any political or bureaucratic obstacles that might stand in the way, and let the chosen 9 do what they do best, and in the time it takes. Now, speaking of big news from the Northeast, as we sort of were,
the Miller GT series heralds a new era of unrivaled power and cutting-edge intelligent coupler technology, increasing job site safety, machine versatility, and productivity. It's the added versatility that you need at the value you can afford. To find out more, visit millergroundbreaking.com.
If you were watching last week, you will know that I drew some vague parallels between the collapse of the Champlain Towers apartment block in Miami and the Grenfell Tower fire here in the UK. News over the weekend now suggests that those parallels actually run deeper than I had previously envisaged. As part of the ongoing Grenfell inquiry, it's been revealed that landlords didn't check if recommendations were followed in the wake of a fatal fire at another very similar housing block back in 2009. And while the search goes on for both victims and survivors of the Miami collapse, it's been revealed that building managers have been warned of major structural damage to the tower. An engineer's report from 2018 revealed alarming evidence of major structural damage to the concrete slab below the pool deck, and abundant cracking and crumbling of the columns, beams, and walls of the parking garage under the 13-story building. Despite this, the cause of the deadly collapse remains unknown at this time. The bodies of 5 victims have now been recovered from the debris, and more than 150 people remain unaccounted for. The Construction Inquirer news portal is reporting this morning on a rise in fake construction IDs and competence cards, as criminal gangs look to exploit the skills gap left by the departure of migrant workers ahead of the end of the EU settlement scheme in just a few days' time. European citizens who can currently work in the UK without additional documentation have until the 1st of July to apply for the scheme. Hudson Contract Managing Director Ian Anfield says he has already seen a growth on the black market for CSCS cards. Organised crime groups and gangmasters know which EU citizens have returned home to Central and Eastern Europe and will be selling their pre-registered immigration status to vulnerable workers in the UK, Anfield says. Without legitimate status of their own, these workers will not be able to access bank accounts, decent accommodation, or basic health services. Instead, they will be at the mercy of gangs who target them for exploitation and take a cut of their wages. So look out for those fake IDs, people, and just be vigilant.
Sorry to interrupt the guy with the funny glasses, but if you're enjoying this video, please hit the like button as it helps our channel. Or, better still, share this video with a friend or a colleague. Thank you. Right, back to Beardy.
And finally, we all know that the demolition industry and the waste industry have a lot in common, and that many demolition companies now have a foot in both camps. And while most are unlikely to ever require a machine like this, the film I'm about to show you was just too good to let it go unnoticed. Check this out. really is quite a machine, that. But there you have it. That's another Breakfast show in the can, and the 100th show is now looming large on the horizon. Week and a bit away, I think. So we are working in the background on some changes and improvements to the show format, and I can't wait to share them with you. We've already seen, well, I've already played around with a few of them, but we're working on some more, and the show is going to take it up a notch in the not too distant future. In the meantime, unless there's any further business, I shall declare this episode well and truly adjourned. I'll be back here on the morrow, same time, same place, for more of the same. In the meantime, have a great week. Stay safe. Look after yourself, your family, your friends, and your colleagues. And I will see you again tomorrow. Thanks for watching.